Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Napoleon and today we're back with another Enlisted Squad review, and in this case we have the 634th Naval Air Group from the 167th Fighter Squadron. Of course, this is from the latest event, which is the Fire Attack event, which gives us planes that has essentially napalm on them, so that's gonna be interesting. Of course, this video has been made possible for the friends at Discord, meaning if you haven't like subscribe or join the Discord. Highly suggest that you do, but that said, let's get on with today's Zero, or should I say more specifically the A6M3 Zero with the fuel tanks. In terms of the history, the Imperial Japanese Navy, which was rebuilding its task force at a rapid pace, had already divided its 9 aircraft carriers into 3 aircraft squadrons, and organized them into 3 air squadrons, and 1 air squadron assigned to each group. At this second stage of reconstruction and reinforcement plan for the Imperial Japanese Navy, the 634th Air Force was reorganized as the carrier-based aircraft squadron with the aircraft battleship Issel and Hyuga as its motherships. The ships were then assigned onto the surface reconnaissance aircraft Zuyun and the carrier bombers. On May 1st, 1944, the unit was based in Ikwani Air Base and then opened up at Kuril Air Base. From June 15th, it was dispatched to Saipan Island, and of course that order was later cancelled. The unit then experienced catapult injection experiment, which started on June 23rd, of which all aircraft were successful. On July 5th, the Operation East was announced and the Zuyun Air Corps advanced to Yokosuka Air Base, and from that on, October 15th, orders were given to the Zuyun to return the original unit. The pros and cons of the quote-unquote carrier-based catapults were then considered, and it was later decided not to install it. On October 19th, the mothership Issel Hyuga departed Beppu Bay for the Philippines without carrying any of its 634th carrier aircraft-based aircraft. It entered the Philippines on October 22nd and was stationed in Cavite. After that, she engaged in night anti-ship attacks and multiple Operation Anti-Ship roles. Then kamikaze attacks began at the Philippines at the end of October. From November the 15th, she was transferred to the 2nd Air Fleet. The carrier squadron was abolished, transferred to the 101st and 701st Naval Air Squadron, and the reconnaissance aircraft was then strengthened. Then it was then converted to nighttime anti-ship attacks, and then she engaged in bombing of the San Jose airfield. It was then transferred back again to the 1st Air Fleet on January 8, 1945, and then retired to Taiwan Dongguan Airfield. After that, the unit was then moved from Dongguan to Tasumi Air Base and engaged in patrols around Taiwan and Okinawa. On March 26, Operation Kutsui no 1 was launched, and she engaged in anti-ship raids in the waters near Okinawa. Withdrawn from the Taiwan mainland in April 1941, then she was deported to the Japanese mainland. The unit was then deployed at Fukuoka and Kogushima, and then she repeated attacks on Okinawa using forward bases. She was then transferred to 5th Air Fleet on August 3rd and formed the 32nd Air Squadron. By that point, the war has already ended, since by that point it was August 15th. Needless to say, a very interesting unit, mostly engaging in night battles and night anti-ship raids because for obvious reasons. But anyway, let's move on to the performance and stats and squad perks. In 1941, the Nakajima produced the Sake-21 engine, which used a 2-speed supercharger for better altitude performance and increased power to 831 kp, or 130 horsepower. A prototype of the Zero with the new engine was first flown on the 15th of July, and the new Sake was significantly higher and somewhat longer due to the larger supercharge. Thus, they had to move the center of gravity too far forward to the existing airframe. To correct this, the engine's mounting were cut back to by a whopping 185mm to move the engine towards the cockpit. This had the side effect of reducing the size of the main fuselage tanks, which decreased the range of the plane. The cowling was then designed to enlarge the cowling flaps, reverse the oil tank takes, and various stuff. The wings were then redesigned to reduce spam, eliminate folding tips, and square off the round tips. It was also increased the wing fuselage, or should I say the wing fuel tanks, and then after that they upgraded the 2 20mm cannons from Type 99 Mark I to a Type 99 Mark II, which was required abolished in the sheet metal, and then the wings were then increased ammunition boxes from giving it 100 rounds per cannon. The Sake-21 engine and other changes increased maximum speed by 11 km per hour or 6.8 miles per hour, and compared to the Model 21, which sacrificed nearly 1,000 kilometers of range. Needless to say, the Navy accepted the type and entered production in April 1942. The shorter wingspan held to a better roll, and the reduced drag allowed the diving speed to increase. The shorter range provided a significant limitation during the Solomon Islands, in which the Zeros based at Rabaul had to carry nearly their maximum range to reach Guadalcanal and return. Consequently, the Model 32 was unsuited for that campaign, and then used mostly as a short-range offensive mission and intercept. For those who are interested, yes, this is the A6M3 Model 32-0. The variant only had a small number of units, and only 343 were built. In terms of these stats, it has one drop tank of 330 liters, two 60kg Type 97 bombs, and 200 rounds of 20mm Type 99 Model 1 cannons, and a whopping 1,400 rounds of the Type 97 machine guns, which come in 7.7 millimeters. The maximum speed is 551.52 kilometers per hour, maximum climb rate of 23.75, and best turn rate of 12.21. In terms of the perks, the current perks that you have for the game and the current perks that comes with the squad is really good. I would not suggest you changing it, and that's it for the perks. Finally, in terms of the recap, should you get it? And the answer is yes. This is one of the best non-premium planes for Japan. And as of right now, it actually gives you something interesting, which is the drop tanks, but we'll talk about that later. In terms of every other planes, not including the Americans, the German Focke-Wulf does better than this. The American Wildcats, which will be coming in very soon, is better than this plane, and in my opinion, almost every other plane except for the few starting planes in various campaigns such as Tunisia and Normandy are better than this, mostly because of the fact that you cannot get hit with this. Like with most planes in Enlisted, you shouldn't be getting hit with this, because once you get hit, this thing is gonna either be on fire or just gonna be down. The cannons on the plane in terms of the armament lack ammo, but they are better than an A6M2 Raison's cannons, which have 120 rounds. But in terms of everything else, the ammunition and armament of its main guns and cannons is very good. More ammo than the Raison, and it actually does much better than the Raison, which is currently a progression unlocked plane. In terms of bombs, the bombs are good at taking out enemy tanks, especially the M13 MGMC, which is essentially the American SPAA. That thing, the 60kg bombs can easily destroy. But on the other hand, the drop bombs are also very interesting in the fact that drop bombs could potentially be used to hold down choke points, but this requires timing and accuracy. on the drop. It is also very good at turning because the Zero is a Zero, and it is very fast, but the downside is that do not get hit. So that's that. In terms of the Pacific in general, the carrier landing is a double-edged sword. On one hand, you can take off, and especially engine power will be very lacking, so you have to wait a little bit and then go into combat. On the other hand, you can essentially repair your plane once you get a little bit damaged. So that's that. Overall, I will have to say that the A6M3 is one of the best planes for Japan, if not the best plane for Japan. Not only because of its increased armament of ammunition for its guns, but also the drop bombs, and, most importantly, the 60kg Type 97 bomb, which can actually take out tanks. Just the starting tank, of course. But overall, that is it for this video. In my opinion, the A6M3 is one of the better planes that Japan has to offer, if not the best plane Japan has to offer as of right now. But that's it, that's all for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Discord. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.